Everybody's been talking about the student debt crisis. Joe Biden, Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren. But you know how serious it is for Black America? Now, in 1965, Congress passed the Higher Education Act, which created the Pell Grant program, grants federal dollars for low-income families. But in the same decade that the federal government was giving more money, public universities introduced tuition for the first time. In states where it used to be free to go to college, now students were obligated to pay. For example, Governor Ronald Reagan of California. He removed the University of California president, introduced tuition, and then cut state funding to education. So while tuition was significantly less 50 years ago, we moved into the system where we went from taxpayers paying for this public good, right, providing college for free, to saying, all right, let's move to more like individual families have to pay for their college tuition. Y'all gonna have to figure it out whether there's money for it or not. So people who had money kept attending college, and those who didn't have money took out debt, student loans, so they can have access to the same opportunities. So in the 1960s, the same time period, you have Black activists from the civil rights movement that have been pushing for affirmative action. And at universities, you see Black people all of a sudden enrolling in much larger numbers than they had previously at predominantly white institutions. And although politicians started taking apart affirmative action as soon as it was passed, the revolution at universities had already kind of happened. Black people are enrolling in numbers. And at this time, you also see that tuition is increasing at the same time that Black people finally are getting an opportunity to go to these schools. This also meant that Black people have been taking out a lot of student loans. If you look at the racial wealth divide, the average white family has a net worth of $171,000. The average Black family has $17,000. So who do you think has money to pay for school? Who do you think is taking out more loans? As Black students have been attending college in larger numbers, the racial wealth divide is actually expanding even though we're earning more degrees. When you look at it from another angle, on top of accumulating more debt, Black graduates earn an average of $6,000 less than white graduates with the same bachelor's degree, which means we tend to take out more loans to attend graduate school. In one study, it showed that 12 years after students enter college, white men had paid off 44% of their student loan balance. Black men's balances grew by 11%. Black women's balances grew by 13%. And then when you look at all these numbers, then you look at the Department of Education and say, wow, this is actually one of our nation's largest banks. They have little oversight and are gaining tremendous profits. The money that our Department of Education has earned from the student debt crisis makes up over 1/3 of our nation's assets. So try to debate me. I'm telling you that the student debt crisis is a Black issue.